Hey there, everybody! Welcome to our review of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 1. The big Disney Plus premiere day has arrived. I think it is fair to say we are excited to get into this show.
Very excited. This premiere was really good.
I was hoping it was going to be awesome. I mean, the thing is just that we've been burned here or there before with certain elements of the Star Wars prequel trilogy, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to just go into this with a clear mind. I'm going to try not to read too much about anything that's going to be happening or any of that. I'm just going to kind of approach this totally new. And it was just like warm and nostalgic and excited. It made me feel kind of like when we all first watched Star Wars for the first time, when we were like really little and we just have like those bright eyed experiences. That was this for me, and it made me so happy.
There was something in there for everyone, for people who don't really know Star Wars, for people who do. Like, there was nostalgia, and there was, just new feelings in it. And there was little Leia. Oh, I didn't know that she was going to be in this. It was such a nice surprise. The actress playing her was a 10 out of 10. It was very good. I'm really pleased with this.
Well, before we get into talking about everything that we saw in episode 1, go ahead, hit that subscribe button because, guess what? There's a lot of stuff Star Wars related that is happening at Disney Plus. We got all those announcements this week. We will be here to discuss all of it, Mandalorian and so much more. So hit that subscribe button.
And also follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
All right, so we're going to start off here with just a little bit of a disclaimer. If you are looking for a deep dive into Star Wars lore, where certain characters are in relation to other characters, greater parts of the universe, that's not what this is. This is going to be more of a look at Obi-Wan Kenobi through what we are seeing directly in front of us. We're going to talk about the characters, the story, what worked, and of course, what didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about the beginning of this whole thing. Of course, they had a little recap if you've never really
Yeah.
seen anything, or even if it's just been like a really long time since you've seen this stuff and you just need a bit of a refresher. They did an excellent job of sort of like reintroducing you to what the events were, what you need to know going into this, so that no matter where you are in the fandom, you're a casual fan, you're a deep fan, you are able to enjoy this show. And I really didn't know where they were going to start with this whole thing, because Obi-Wan has such a deep history that I was kind of like, how are they going to make this show accessible to people who are more casual fans, or maybe don't know anything, or just watching it with their kids, or their kids are watching it with them, or whatever. But they did an excellent job. They've made this for everyone.
I really loved the inclusion of my favorite prequel trilogy line, even in the opening recap. You were the chosen one.
Okay, that's nobody's favorite line.
Listen, I still need to find ways to apply that to my day-to-day life, but no, I think this was accessible. It was fun. We got to see some new characters. I mean, just my favorite part of the whole thing, though, was just sort of seeing Obi-Wan, aka Ben, like go around and live his life. It's like, dude's living in a cave, and yet he seems to be a-okay with living in his cave, and sort of, I guess he's sort of accepted where he is in his life now.
Yeah, I mean, after everything that's happened, Jedis have gone into hiding. We even saw this character Nari who came, who, was also sort of in hiding and had figured out Ben is not Ben, and kind of was like, hey, like, I've been looking for other Jedis, and Ben was just, listen, I'm not who you think I am, but go bury your lightsaber in the desert, and that's the way that it's going to be, and just forget, everything that you know. And we saw that it was a real struggle for him. Like, he is in a position where he's still watching over Luke, but he's watching over Luke from afar, kind of with the idea that down the road, maybe he's going to have to train him, maybe not, maybe, he's had this conversation with Owen, his uncle, that at some point Luke, is going to have to be trained, where Owen's just like, it's done. Everything is done. Like, Anakin is dead. There's no need to train him. Just let him live his life.
Owen, I totally get where Owen is sort of coming from here as well. It's like he's on the ground level here with young Luke Skywalker. He just wants to make sure that Luke is okay. And I think if you're going to sort of put characters in this world, you have to really understand where they're going to be coming from. And for Owen, he's seen a lot of bad things happen to Jedi at this point. Like really, really bad things. So there's like a part of me that is like, Team Obi-Wan, I've got your back, Obi, but the problem here in doing all of this is like, from Owen's point of view, it's just sort of like, why am I going to go and send this kid off to the slaughter at this point? You just kind of gotta back off here, Obi-Wan, let him live his life.
Yeah, and at this point in the story, I understand where Owen is coming from. He doesn't really know, he doesn't have a crystal ball to look into the future of what's going to happen to Luke and where he's going to end up. So I understand at this point where he's just like, listen, he's like 11 years old. He just wants to be a boy. He's just out here on the farm. Like, just let him be a farm boy and just grow up.
I always still find it very amusing that we're talking about farms on a planet full of sand.
I know.
It's also very amusing how many things seem to pop out of the sand across all Star Wars.
Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that pops up out of the sand.
Yeah, it's just a thing that happens in Tatooine and beyond. But the start of this episode, we got to see here the Grand Inquisitor. And Grand Inquisitor dude, pretty scary, but I gotta say, somehow Reva is like even more scary than the Grand Inquisitor.
They did a very good job, again, introducing this character straight away with dialogue, with the barkeep to kind of be like, do you know who we are? Yeah, you guys are here hunting Jedi kind of thing. Yes, that is what we are here to do. We are here hunting Jedi and we will find them, sort of thing. So it's like, okay, right away, you know who they are, you know what they're here for, and that's their purpose.
I also kind of enjoy the weird good cop / bad cop, or I guess we should say like mediocre cop and bad cop that the Grand Inquisitor and Reva had going on, where she was like, threatening to just kill people left and right with her interrogation techniques.
Yeah, so obviously Reva has a problem with
Yes.
Obi-Wan, and she really wants to find him. She's like got a one-track mind on this. Where is he? I want to get him. And, the Grand Inquisitor is even like, you need to put this on a shelf. Like, yeah, if we come across him, we come across him, but like, we're trying to find all of them. Like, we're not here on your revenge mission. And I think they've introduced this mystery in a really interesting and cool way that is making me feel like, what did he do to her that's so bad that she's just like, I will cut down everybody in my path to get to him.
That's where they've set the bar kind of high with this character, because they introduced her so well that it's like, if they don't pay this off and they don't answer these questions, I'm gonna be disappointed. And I'm sure we'll talk about this again. It's just like, this is not a super long season either. Like,
no, it's not.
Like, the episodes aren't super long. There's only 6 of them, so it's just like, you guys got to get them moving pretty quickly on this to actually kind of put us in the know here.
Okay, let's talk about Little Leia. We're like 9 minutes in here and we haven't spoken about her yet. Oh my God. She is exactly what I would think that Little Leia would be. I mean, she's one of my all-time favorite characters in the whole series of Star Wars. She's just so badass and she doesn't take any you-know-what from anyone. And even at 11, she's still showing that, where she's very rebellious right away, so it's not surprising that later she's part of the rebellion, and that, we see her right away. She's out in the woods. She's doing her own thing. Put on this dress. Let's go wave at people. Nah, I'm good, fam. And she's gone. And I just really like that they showed that this is who she is at her core, like from a very young age. This isn't something that's taught to her. This is just who she is.
The introduction scene where you see somebody being dressed up, and I think the first thing that comes in your mind is, oh, obviously it's Leia, and then it's not Leia. Like, it was perfect. Like, that was absolutely perfect. It's even just fun to sort of get back into this sort of world that was around in episode 3, and I was just like, oh, Hey, Jimmy Smits, nice to see you again.
Yeah, no, it was all really well done. We even saw her have a little standoff with her cousin who was basically like, "You're not really one of us, you're adopted," meh, kind of thing,
Yeah.
which was so rude. And I was really glad that she stood up to him and was just like, "Oh yeah, well this," and put him right in his place. I was like, that is exactly what our Leia would do as an adult, and it's nice to see that she's strong enough to do that as a kid. So when we got to the scene where her parents are kind of like, "Oh, you're going to go and apologize to him," I was like, okay, there's no way she's going to go and apologize to him, which she didn't. And I was kind of actually surprised the way that it played out, that it was kind of, I think it just needed a little more dialogue to make it more believable, because they know who their kid is, and
Yeah.
that their kid is rebellious, and that, there has to be a good reason that she's going to need to apologize. And Bale's like, "Listen, one day you're going to be the senator." And she's told him, "I don't want to be the senator. I'm not here for this. This is not what my future is going to be. You want me to be the senator. I'm not going to be the senator." I'm surprised he didn't then kind of shift gears into something else to try to get her to make some sort of peace, instead of like, just being like, "Listen, you know what? He was in the wrong. He should have never said this. You are part of this family, and don't let anybody tell you different." If he's really like, "Okay, we need to make peace with this part of our family, they also need to make peace with you. So you know what? He's downstairs. He's going to apologize to you too." That might have been the bait that made Leia be like, okay, well, if he's going to apologize to me, then okay, I'll go downstairs. Maybe.
I would have even just been okay if they had given a little bit more dialogue, even explaining why Bale wanted this to happen, and just sort of say, okay, you know what? We're trying to play the long game here. We're trying to play these politics. I don't want you to apologize to him either. This kid's a brat for like X, Y, and Z, and even just got a little bit more perspective on some of this. And I think, I find the world of politics within Star Wars to be really, really fascinating, because there's always so many different forces at play and
Yep.
undercurrents and all of that sort of stuff. And Leia is smart enough, even at just the young age, clearly to figure out a lot of this sort of stuff. I wish, even if there's like 3 or 4 more minutes in this episode where we could have seen and explored more of this, like, I would have been really happy with this. You guys don't have to make the episodes as short as you're making them.
I would take another hour of this for sure. Like, they do not need to make these this short. There is so much to get into. And so obviously she's not going to go apologize to her
No.
cousin, and nor should she. He was in the complete wrong, and she stood up to him, and he deserved what he got. I said it. So she takes off because she's not apologizing, and
Yeah.
she gets captured by mercenaries. And even when she's taken on the ship, she's still like, "I'm not afraid of you," kind of thing. And it's nice to see that. Now, would a young kid say that? Maybe. I mean, I can believe it with her because we know who she turns into in the future. And we did see a little bit of her being scared when she was alone, but we saw that this is a very specific move by Reva to draw out Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I like that there's real strategy here, and it's
Yeah,
not just some sort of hokey, okay, we're gonna capture, the daughter of a political figure, and this is just gonna be
I
some.
was worried.
Yeah, we don't need to stoop to that level of cliche. I mean, Star Wars, they've done their cliches in the past here and there. I'm glad we're not moving in that direction. And yeah, of course, because here is Ben Kenobi, the ultimate hero, the super Jedi. He is just not going to see the forest through the trees here at all. And it's just ultimately, despite whatever initial reluctance he may have, okay, yeah, I gotta do this. This is who I am.
Yeah, because he was very reluctant to sort of come out of hiding. He's really questioning himself. I mean, everything that happened with Anakin, where he was just like, "Oh man, I trained this kid, and this is what happened." Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like I'm really not good at this. That it makes sense at that point that he would tell Bale, like, I don't think that I'm the right person to do this. Like, we know what already happened with me. Maybe not so much. I just don't think that I need to come out of hiding to do this. There's a million other people that you can get in touch with. to get this together, and it ends up pushing Bale to actually just show up at his cave and be like, hey, no, you're doing this.
Bale is desperate. That is the key thing we have here. And understandably so, all things considered here.
Yeah, and I mean, even Obi-Wan's argument was kind of weak at one point where he's like, yeah, but the boy, I'm watching the boy. And, he's kind of like, well, nothing's happening with the boy right now. He's just like digging holes on a farm. Like,
Yeah.
he's fine right now. But Leia is stolen on a ship. Like, we actually need you to go and take care of this.
Obi-Wan's just like a broken hero at this point. He's got like no confidence in himself
Yeah.
anymore. I mean, the chosen one ended up going in the completely wrong direction. I feel bad for Obi-Wan, and we're 16 minutes in. This is where I just spew all my man love about Ewan McGregor, because I love Ewan McGregor.
No, he's so great. The first thing I actually ever saw him in was Train Spotting, which is just like, he was so incredible in that movie. And then, yeah, ever since then, I just absolutely love him.
Yeah, like one of my favorite movies ever is Big Fish. Like I'd saw Ewan and stuff before that, but it was just like, okay, this is gonna be my guy now. This is who I'm gonna root for and everything. And I just think there was that sadness, that forlonging to Obi-Wan, but there was also still such a charm and a little bit of humor. Like there were even a couple of funny moments still in this episode, and I appreciate that we're not just like moving away from that, even though the stakes are pretty darn dire here.
Yeah.
This was just such a great start, and I am very grateful we have 2 episodes. That way we can just like immediately after doing this video go and watch episode 2 and record a video review for that.
Absolutely. We're going to have episode 2 up a little bit later today. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you can get all of our Obi-Wan stuff. And we're also covering Better Call Saul. That will be back in July. It just ended. So if you're watching that, we're watching that. The Boys
Yes.
starting next week. We love that show. So we are going to be back covering that as well.
Thank you guys so much. We will see you here next time.